Happy Sunday, beautiful people, and welcome to Real Talk with MRS.FAM on Kosoro Evergreen Radio. This is a platform where we have honest conversations about life, relationships, and everything in between. Wherever you're listening from, at home, in your car, or just taking a moment for yourself, I appreciate you. Now, listen, you don't have to miss a moment of this show. And this is your show, so be part of it. But before you do that, download the Kosoro Evergreen Radio app on Android and iOS and stay connected from anywhere in the world. Send us a message, WhatsApp, voice note. You can call in. We're live. UK number 0044 7746 990035. We're live and we want to hear from you. This time I'm going to appreciate our listeners who call in, send their messages. I just want to say a big thank you to you. So today, you're welcome once again. We're talking about something many of us struggled with silently. Something that we struggle with silently, and this is learning to set boundaries without guilt. How do we set boundaries without feeling guilty? Saying no without feeling bad, that's not an easy thing to do. I want to believe one or two people will agree with me that saying no sometimes comes across as, being proud to some people or being wicked or not being considerate. But today, we're going to talk about it on Real Talk with MRS.FAM. And so today, I am joined by an amazing guest, Temitope Matthews. Good afternoon, ma. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Temitope Matthew, like you said. Matthew is my media name. I am actually Temitope Ogundele. I prefer to be called Temitope Matthew. I'm your friend, I'm a sister, I'm a mom. I'm a respiratory specialist. I'm here live at Kosoro, and we're going to do it together.
Thank you. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us into what you do. So, are you a nurse?
I am. I am a proudly one.
Wow. Okay, thank you so much for that. So, I'm going to go on with our topic before I ask you some questions about boundaries. Every time we don't set a boundary, we lose a bit of ourselves. And every time we do, we grow stronger. So, thank you so much for coming on this program. And I want you to share, whatever you're comfortable sharing with us today.
Yeah.
What does boundary mean to you?
Well, to me, setting boundaries is very, very important to me in all areas of life. I will say setting boundaries is shifting your mindset towards viewing them as necessary self-care rather than seeing it as being selfish. People does misinterpret setting boundary as being selfish sometimes. It's not selfish. It's about self-care. It's about setting a limit that, I don't want to pass this. Giving people, like, I will say an example of one of the boundaries that I set recently. I've got a driver driving me for the past 10 years anytime I go to Nigeria.
Okay.
He's been my permanent driver. All the people that work in the house, we still remain them. So we still have things going on. We've got businesses. We've got things back home.
Yes.
So we realize that this driver, my husband is a very quiet man. There's nothing you do is, even if you piss him off, you just be quiet. And I keep on telling him that you're not setting boundaries. Your driver should know their boundaries. The cook in the house should know their boundaries. Just like we do here, the doctors, I work in healthcare settings where we've got doctors, we've got nurses, we've got healthcares. There are some call you will receive as a nurse. We go through patients' information and stuff.
Yeah.
But for confidential reason, for working within your boundary, those information are information to be given by a doctor to a relative, not from a nurse.
I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
So if you give such information, you're going to be penalized for it,
because it's not in your position.
It's not your
to
boundary.
Yeah.
That's outside your professional boundary.
I see.
So I am saying this that happened to me happens to my driver, and he's my very good friend. We are very, very close. She does things for me. She was going to do something for me, but reach out to my driver first time. My driver not telling me that, oh, my friend reached out. She want me to take her out to some places you sent her. I'm the one paying my driver. If you want to give instruction to my driver,
it has
to be through me.
I see what
but
you mean.
Because we're very close, you get what I mean. She did it first time, and I said, listen, I don't like that. It's like you're overriding my
authority
over my worker.
I see.
I won't do that to you.
Yeah.
So setting boundaries is like it's about guiding my mental. Yes.
Is it just about knowing when to say yes and when to say no without feeling that you're doing something wrong?
Without feeling bad. So if I have to think of how my friend would react or feel, I wouldn't be able to say no shit. And before the driver, and I told the driver the day somebody will call you without my consent and taking my car out, that can service it. I pay you your, I'm not holding salary.
Yeah.
I said the day you do it, he did the first time, the second time.
So that way you did set your boundaries.
My bound. I don't like. How would I say? When I'm also setting my boundary, I give people opportunity to make mistakes once. I'll let you know that I'm forgiving you for this, but if you get it repeated
next time,
I am walking away.
Yeah, that's good. That's really powerful. Why do you think people struggle to say no? Let me just, many people fear rejection or being seen as rude. Some were raised to always please others, and so saying no feels uncomfortable even when they're overwhelmed. Like the culture, our background, like saying no to people. Most people say, oh, she's very rude or he's very rude, and and sometimes it could be overwhelming if you don't know how to say, this is where I can, this is up to what I can take. I can't take anymore.
Well, I will say, because most people don't understand what the word setting boundary means. It's like shifting your loving yourself first. If you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody. It True. Is, there's this word I say, out of abundance of heart speaketh the mouth. If you don't love yourself to say no, you will hurt other people.
And that's where the problem lies.
That's where the problem lies.
And so saying yes when your heart is saying no. You say yes to people, but then your heart says
And when you are doing this, you hurt yourself. At the same time, all the people you think you want to please. Because it will get to a stage for no reason, because you've piled it up, you've boxed it.
Yeah.
And when you unleash it, it will be like what have we done?
Like a big
because
blow.
You've not learned to set a boundary. I said, this is my limit.
Yeah.
I can't go beyond this. Somebody wants to come and borrow money from you, and the person is asking you to borrow them the whole of your salary.
Oh God.
And your children are going to eat. You're going to pay your bills. And you don't want to say no.
So why do we feel guilty for choosing ourselves? I will give you an example of maybe what happens here, like where we live. Some people, they only have like 2-bed house, and they have like 4 kids plus mom and dad 6, and then they have people like family come over, like friends, people like that, and they have like 3 other people live with them, and their own children can't even leave their own house. And because of the respect and because of the, love, you don't want to say no, inconveniencing your family, your children. And, is there a way that we can set boundaries? I'm not a wicked person, by the way, but these are things that happen. And at the end of the day, maybe you don't want to hurt your husband by saying no to his family, or you don't want to hurt your wife by saying, look, guys, you can only stay here for a week or a month, or you know what, because this is not even enough for us as a family. So where do you set such boundaries?
I would say people need to understand types of boundaries that we have. There's something called physical boundary. There's something called emotional boundary. There's something called sexual boundary. There's intellectual boundary. What you have just said has happened to me. That I've been guilty of that in the past, because I don't learn to set boundary. When people come to my house, I just ask my children, you go and sleep in your sister's room now. And they'll be like, Mom, you are inconveniencing us. I say, I can't say no to these people.
And that could go on for a year or two sometimes. Yeah.
But I learned to say that at some points, because my children has to tell me that, you know what, if you don't know how to set boundary, we'll set it up for you.
That would not be nice.
And you won't want to get to that point where it seems they are rude.
Yeah, that will come across as being rude.
If you don't, and a particular friend of mine rang me from Nigeria, and she said, oh, Temi, I want to come and do masters here in your house. I will be staying in your house for the period of the masters.
And that's about a year or two, I believe.
Yes, and I said, my children are grown. I've got grown-up children. I can't. He said she will sleep in the sitting room. I said, I can't allow you to sit in the sitting room because my husband stays upstairs. We live in a
duplex.
Yeah. So sometimes when I'm busy in the room, probably it's my quiet time, or I just want my space. The only place my husband will have his own space to is to go to the sitting room and watch TV or do his stuff.
Yeah.
But if I have my friend in that sitting room, it's going to inconvenience me, my children, even herself that want to please.
Yeah. Because she needs her own privacy.
She needs her own privacy. And before I start suspecting that she's sleeping with my husband.
Oh my God. We're on the radio.
Yeah, we're all adults. You get what I mean? Because probably she's just changing. And my husband will walk into the sitting room at that particular time.
Oh, I see.
I'll start suspecting them.
I get you, yeah. That's
right. But for us not to have a future problem.
Somebody needs to hear this today. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's good. So yeah, she won't be comfortable. The whole family will not be comfortable.
Yes.
But, we shouldn't really feel guilty for that. Is that what you can take out from that narrative?
Yeah, she feels bad. In fact, that's kind of break our relationship to today.
Oh, so
because
sorry
I said I can't. Set a boundary. You must be able to know your limits. Say your no where you need to say your no firmly. Not to break yourself and not to break the other people you want to help.
Yes.
Because when we don't learn to say no, and we want to please people when it's not convenient for us, at the end of the day, we end up hurting them.
Sorry to cut you short, because that brings me to my next question.
Okay.
That says, what happens when you don't set boundaries? What happens when you don't set boundaries? You become drained.
Yes.
Frustrated. Even you become so resentful, and over the time it affects your mental health and your relationship. Do you agree with this?
Yes, it does. When most of the places where we find difficult to set boundaries, most of the time is in the family. It's very easy for us to set boundary with people outside.
Okay. Why do you say that?
Because you know that, I'm not doing it. After all, I'm not going to see this person for some time. By the time we see, they must have gotten over however they feel. You understand? But when it comes to...
Does finance come as a major one?
Finance is part of it.
Okay.
Finance majorly. Or how would I say it? But African settings, we have this mindset that whatever your seniors say, you must not say no to them.
It's the respect that we were
We
brought
see it
up
as
with.
respect.
Yeah.
We see it as respect.
But is it draining though?
It is lack of working within individual boundary, even in the family. Anybody can come as the firstborn. Anybody can come as the lastborn. Irrespective of who is the firstborn,
Okay.
or the lastborn, we are all individual with emotions, with feelings that deserve respect in our own areas. When you don't set boundary even within the family, you feel disrespected.
You feel
Even as the
disrespected.
younger one.
Yes.
I've seen a family whereby, at some point, some people will just like being elderly does not mean you can call my husband and say all sorts of things. No.
That's very rude and
You
disrespectful.
get so you must be able to know that this is your sister, this is your brother, this is their wife, this is their husband. Walk within individual boundaries.
Regardless, it doesn't
Regardless
matter
of who
that you're
is
older or you
younger.
have to respect everybody. That's why people smile, but other people don't see the exhaustion behind that smile, because there's just a lot going on and you bottle a lot of things, you mask, and people don't understand how you truly feel because of the respect. Like you don't want to come across as being disrespectful to people.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read this message from Chiamaka from Enugu in Nigeria. The first time I set boundary with my mom, I cried after. Not because I was wrong, but because I felt like I had hurt her. But the truth is, I have spent years abandoning myself just to keep everyone else happy. Learning to choose myself now feels painful, but I know it is necessary. Another one is from Sophia from Madrid. I used to explain myself too much whenever I said no, like I needed permission to choose myself. Now I am learning that no is a complete sentence. That's no over explaining, just clarity.
Yes.
So this is Daniel from Birmingham. For me, it was at work. I kept overextending myself just to prove I'm reliable, but people started taking advantage. The first time I set boundary, I felt so uncomfortable, but also relieved. Thanks for sharing that, Daniel. This is Tunde from Ibadan. As a guy, nobody really teaches you about boundaries. You just keep showing up for everyone. But I have learned the hard way that if you don't set limits, people will keep taking. Thank you all for sharing those messages. Let's see if we have some more. I see we have one. We do not have a name, but it says, truth is, for the sake of a healthy mental health and peace of mind, we all need to set boundaries. I remembered working as a PA to a female CEO of a herbal product years ago. We had agreements prior to my employment. I am supposed to work for 6 days, but first weekend she asked we travel to another state for work, and I obliged. My work time was supposed to be 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., but I found myself getting home 11 p.m. daily, and for a whole month my day off. Oh, sorry, I couldn't really figure that out. Thanks for that, Tammy. My day off vanished, and she always has more to do. You continued. I tried to discuss the changes and maybe pay for overtime and inconveniences. She didn't want to listen. So third week in my first month, I told her I will stop working by the end of the month. She claimed I signed an agreement which states I must give 30 days notice prior to my resignation. I also told her she has always breached the agreement. She then praised my competence. Hard work, and the positive and productive changes I brought about in short period. Her husband also weighed in on the conversation, trying to convince me not to leave, and I listened. Truth is, the following week, no changes to schedule and work remained the same. So at the end of the month, I resigned so I can reset mentally. I dropped all work related tools, but she claimed she won't pay my deserved salary. I just told her to use it as what is important was for my peace. My point here is I enabled her to encroach on my personal space and time, and she abused it. Same with most humans. They feel entitled when we allow things slide without proper discussion on how it affects us. Though later she paid my salary, and after a week and begged for me to come back to work after 2 weeks, but I declined. Even if I had not gotten another job then, I was relieved, happy and satisfied using my time for other productive things. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was so insightful. Tell me, what do you see to that?
Well, firstly, I think the first one was a young lady that said she set a boundary for that. She's always been there between her and her mom. She cried. I think she needs to understand what self-care is all about. It's not about being selfish. It's ability to guide your mental health.
Yeah.
If helping others is going to break you down, if listening to too much of family members will break you down, if you're going to lose your peace in it, and you have a reflection that, oh, what I'm doing, say no to your mom, that this thing I can't continue like that. It's a healing process for your mental stability. It's nothing to be guilty about or feel bad about, Yinka. It's Mrs.FAM. It's something that she should see it as she was going to get better later, because the first time you start setting boundary, you're bound to feel that way.
Yes. Is it just natural?
It's natural, like, because you are used to doing that thing. You are used to being abused. You are used to people abusing your time, abusing your mental state, or invading your space without your consent.
Not appreciating
what you are doing. So she said she should find peace and think about, she needs to have a reflection that this no I am saying, is it going to have a positive impact in my life?
Yes.
Or is it going to affect somebody? If it's going to be a positive, if she's going to enjoy the positive part of it, then she has nothing to be guilty about.
That's really deep. That is
Honestly.
really, really deep. Because sometimes we're just afraid of losing people that are dear to us.
Yes.
That's deep.
That's deep. It's very, very important. It's just like saying no to, I've said no to, there are times I'll say no to, my mom is a very, I won't use the word, we used to call her a very strong person. You can't win her. If she wants something, she wants it. And at some point when you are saying no, you don't need to over explain yourself. Just say your no. Don't explain too much. Let there be clarity in your no.
Very well.
Don't be rude. You can say no without being disrespectful.
Very well. I was going to say, you can actually still be respectful and have boundaries.
Yes.
And it's just about communicating right and being firm, but polite. Be firm,
polite.
but polite.
Be polite. That's the word.
So I'm going to go back to setting boundaries between like maybe your parent, like the lady said. I want to go back to that. When we don't set boundaries, people tend to come into your life, like your relationship, they tell you what to do with your children, with your wife, with your work, with how you dress, how you talk, who you're friends with, what you eat, how you behave. Could that come across as too much for some people? A lot of newly married people, they kind of, oh, my mother-in-law doesn't know when to stop or
Yes.
what to say, and my husband don't even know what to say to my own family because there's no boundaries, or my father-in-law is too involved in our home. I'm just citing an example.
I'm just going to say we are.
Yeah.
Myself and my brother, we are 7. 6 we have 6 female and a male. My
Yeah.
brother is the only brother I have.
Oh.
So when my brother when my brother got married, and the wife,
So he's the only one.
he's the only
there's
one.
6 sisters.
6 sisters
God help us.
with my mom.
7.
And my dad was alive then. So I called my sister, my brother's wife, I said, listen, I said, you are married to my brother now, but when my dad died, it's you and my mom that you are going to marry my brother. It's not that marry my brother, because my brother will have to manage most of the things my dad was managing.
I see.
The house, the
yeah.
property. So there will be need for constant communication between my mom and my
And your
brother.
I see that, yeah.
Because it's the only brother I have.
But the balance is important as well
Yes.
to have a healthy relationship.
Yes.
So that's where your brother needed to have that balance so that he won't fall on one side and one won't feel like, oh, I'm being deprived of my attention or you know what I mean?
My brother was actually struggling. So at a point, my mom was complaining. My other sister, they would say, they complain about my brother's wife. I sat down and I look at it and I put myself in the position of my brother's wife. And I said, what will I do? Then I called my mom. I called my brother's wife. I said, listen, you guys need to have a boundary. I said, Mama, whatever you wish your children in their husband's house, that is the same thing you should do for this lady.
That's true. That's very true.
And I told my brother's wife, I said, listen, God has blessed you with not just one but with 3 boys. Whatever you are expecting from their wife to do for you,
it's what you should do for your mother-in-law. See her as your mother.
I said, Mama, I said, you are my mom. I said, I'm not going to be biased. I'm going to tell the truth of you. I said, you can't just go to their house. You can't just say because it's your son
or because something worked for you.
Your own husband.
Doesn't mean that you have to say.
Ever since then till today, that was the end of their quarrel.
That's it.
I'm telling you.
It's just being firm and polite and communicating with parties.
Know your boundaries
to understand. And mommy, when you come into this house,
don't just burst into their house.
Mommy, don't just go straight into my kitchen and say, this is how. But mommy, she like you lele. Mommy, emi ni yawe.
Yes.
Emi ni mo nbo ni bibayi. Not like I feed him, like I buy the food, or you know what I mean. Like I'm the one that cook for you.
Yes.
Emi ni mo sonje for mo yin ni bibayi. You understand?
Yes.
So bóyá bẹ ṣe ń pògì fún ní years ago
ọwọ́
ẹ̀ ti change nítorí pé bóyá Ghanaian ní but èmi mo wá lọ jẹ́ bíi Togolese bí èmi ṣe mọ̀ ọ́ ṣe ni mo ṣe ó dẹ̀ appreciate it because ìyàwó ẹ̀ lèmi jẹ́ because all of these things ló máa ń fa wàhálà nínú relationship.
Definitely.
You understand? We have a call. We're just going to see if I can pick that call. Hello, caller.
Hello, Mrs. FAM. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Olubumi, calling from Nigeria. Happy Sunday, Mrs. FAM.
Happy Sunday to you. Thanks for calling today.
Yes, I'm enjoying the program and I just want to chip in some of my own perspective as well. Hope that's allowed.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, now I feel like setting boundaries, like your guest mentioned when I listened. She said at some point our children too want to set the boundaries for her. Okay, now I feel like we parents, we need to give our children the opportunity for them to have a bit of a say in our household. Instead of just bringing a stranger or a family member onto them and be like, oh yeah, it will also say, but you can share a room. Why not tell them ahead? Somebody is coming for a particular time. Let's hear their opinion.
Yes.
Is it okay with them?
Yes.
We don't even know if they really like the person or they can, put up with the person for a longer period of time instead of using our own power, our own authority as a parent.
Yes.
And by so doing, we are teaching them the outside world of not allowing anybody to trample on their opportunity or to use their time anyhow.
Thank you
You
so
are
much.
setting the boundary from the house. If somebody is using it, because these days, if you give somebody 1 mile, definitely they are going to take 30 miles. They're going to
Definitely.
take your time. They will
Yes.
take everything out of you until you're so exhausted and you don't have
Drained.
anything more to give. So we should teach our children right from the house.
How to
Set
challenge
boundaries.
things. I want to
Yes.
agree with you to be able to challenge things like, mom, yeah,
Yes.
I know that's my auntie, but how long is auntie gonna be here for?
Exactly.
We
So
should be
that's
able,
my
so
one.
that's even preparing them for outside life, when they get to start working, or they get to uni, they start living on their own, rather than just, like you said, not giving them that opportunity to even talk.
Mm-hmm,
And this is what we need
mm-hmm.
to address in our African homes, and not
Yes.
see it as disrespectful. Oh, thank you so much for
Exactly.
sharing
Yes, ma'am.
that.
Thank you so much for what
All
you're
right.
doing. We really appreciate you. You're
Thank
doing a
you.
good job.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Enjoy the
Thank
new
you.
week. Bye
Thank you.
bye,
Bye
ma'am.
bye. Bye bye. We're just going to read another text message. Okay, so that's Kemi Adeshola. Before we go to the text message, I'll just answer this phone call. We have another caller on the line. Hello, caller.
Hello, good afternoon, MRS.FAM.
Hello, good afternoon, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Akonji Ayobami, calling from Nigeria.
Good afternoon, Mr. Akonji. Nice to have you on the program. Your take on today's topic, boundaries.
Yes, I really appreciate this topic of yours that you try to introduce today.
Thank you.
To start with, do you know setting of boundaries starts with this call that we even make? I would appreciate if people know how they tend to interrupt some people's it is, should I call it emotions or privacy with calls,
With
especially in
calls.
this side of God. Yes, they don't actually know when to call or not. It happens to so many people. Some people they can they can turn your head down with their calls.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to laugh, but it's so funny. But it's the truth.
It's the truth.
It's the truth. Sorry about that,
That is
Mr.
the bitter
Akonji.
truth. No, no, no. It is the bitter truth. That setting of boundaries start with the calls that we make. Fine, you people might be there, but we are here. Everything that we do over here, Odilaman Shesi,
I get
you
you.
know, they won't just they don't just care
So you mean
whether you just
calling,
getting up
big
from
back
bed.
waking your mark pay on ní odd hours, or I just want you to break it down a bit. Should be waking your mark just constantly for no reason or for a particular reason. Even when you send like I'll call you back, do people not see that thing? Thomas okay, busy now. I'll call you back.
They don't care about that.
Really?
The only thing they want to achieve is that their mission. That particular time, they are disturbing you with that call. Never mind whether you are doing something or not. They don't want to care. After telling them, I will get back to you in a few minutes. In a jiffy, just give me some time. They will still keep a call. And it's crazy sometimes.
It is. I agree with you. It is.
So I think that setting of boundaries start with calls. So thank you for this kind of a program and this topic.
Thank you so much. And that balance is so important, especially in our African communities. Just so people understand, okay, even now that you're calling me, Mori miss call, yeah, I actually saw it. But more busy in the time, yeah, I can't attend to it. And it doesn't matter that I don't want to pick your phone. There's a reason why I'm not picking your phone. So don't see it as maybe I'm more rude at being convenient, and I don't have to feel guilty about it.
Yes.
Especially when it's over convenient for me láti gbé phone anytime here. So I actually agree with you, Mr. Koji. Thank you so much for sharing that. Speak to you some other time. Bye now.
That's it. Bye.
So we're gonna take a few more text messages. So this is from Kemi Adeshola. Kemi says, good afternoon, Mrs. Fam. Good afternoon to you. Happy weekend to you and everyone at Kosoro Evergreen Radio. Whoa, thank you. So, setting boundaries for me resonates with the topic. I mean, I don't feel bad when I say yes or no. Principles are very vital in life. I am a very principled I am very principled, and I make it clear to everyone around me to know things I like and don't like. People like to take advantages of little chances you give to them. For me, if you take advantage of me, I clear it up immediately and make sure the person understands this should not happen again. Mentally, I don't want to be distracted, so I would avoid toxic people who doesn't respect boundaries. A question: do we have to explain why we are saying no to someone? Maybe to help them understand our reason or a context. That's Kemi Adeshola. I'll read another one before we answer that question. So this message has no name. That's fine. Setting boundaries means clearly defining what you are comfortable with and what you are not when it comes to others. When it comes to how others treat you, your time, your energy, and your values. Although some people see it as being selfish or arrogant, however, setting boundaries is necessary and not selfish. I think that answers Adeshola's question.
Yeah.
Without them, people tend to overextend themselves and lose clarity about what they actually want or can handle. Healthy boundaries make relationships more stable because expectations are clearer. I think we just have another message coming. We quickly have that. Happy Sunday, Mrs. Fam. I'd like to call. Yes, you're free to call. We have a couple of minutes left. So pick up your phone and call just this minute before we end the program for today. So Temi,
Yes.
before we went on that break,
Yeah.
I just wanted to have a bit more clarity on the the feelings. You know, when you eventually say no, you see that okay, you don't feel guilty. You've gone past that stage of feeling guilty because you know in your heart of hearts that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
How do you now explain to people that this is the reason why you're doing it, for them to understand?
When you are setting boundaries, you don't need to be over explaining.
Okay.
You need to recognize that you are not responsible for others. You are responsible for yourself. You are the best person who can look after yourself. You are the first person that to love yourself.
You deserve peace.
You deserve peace.
You deserve respect.
Just like one of the people that sent messages said, she said she walk away from any toxic people. It's not for any other reason, but just for your mental stability. So,
And does that mean that you deserve to choose yourself
yes, choose yourself first.
without guilt?
Without guilt. It's not being it's not being selfish. It's called self-care.
Self-care.
Yeah.
That's a good word. I'll read this message from it doesn't have a name. It says, "Good afternoon, Mrs. Fam." Oh no. Okay, I'll leave that for now. I'll come back to me now. So sorry, you were saying.
So explaining, feeling.
So don't explain too
you
much.
don't explain too much. You know it's not convenient for you. You know people invading your space without your consent. It's going to make you feel bad. Just like that, the other lady that rang the other time.
Yes.
I said it got to a stage my children has to tell me that if you don't know how to set boundaries,
We will help you.
Because most of these African settings, they'll come to your house unannounced. At that particular time,
But I think that's the way we
that's
were
where
brought up.
but at the point where I had to say, oh, somebody wants to come. My daughter said, I'm not
we were
sharing
trained
bed.
to be accommodating,
But
approachable.
accommodating at the expense of our own peace. And we just have to know that if don't take care of ourselves, people will take advantage of your carelessness. You have no reason to be careless about yourself. You have no reason not to guard your mental health. You have no reason not to guard your own space. You have no reason to be careless financially. You are like, do you know some people will call you? I've seen somebody I don't even know doing a video call from Nigeria.
Thank you so much. Even from
here,
without asking me.
And I said to them, I said, please, don't call me on video without my consent. What do you want to see?
Temi, can I just ask? This is an honest question.
Honestly.
No, I'm just going to ask you this honestly. Why do people call other people on video calls without
their consent?
Oh my God, I can't comprehend this. Now, that's one. There's two, so that's one. The other one, why do people add you to WhatsApp groups without prior knowledge? I don't get it. Please tell me.
Yeah, I think because they don't know their boundary. You know, at a time.
But do you think it's right for you to join that group?
I just exit the group. Somebody keep tagging me on Facebook every time. If it's on front of camera, if she's dancing, if she's eating, she will tag me. I'll keep on tagging myself at some point. And my Facebook page became, all our programs are on my Facebook page. People start calling me. Do you know, I couldn't bear it. I have to tell Auntie, please stop tagging me.
Can I tell you one thing again? You know, when you have WhatsApp, you know, like your own group, is it setting boundaries? You know, of course, the administrator or whatever you call the admin for the Facebook platform. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's for your secondary school or whatever, you know, maybe organizing a party. But is it setting boundaries when people just bring in things that are not pertained to, you know, the purpose of setting up that group? People just send random messages, you know, things that is not even, you know, what the platform was set for. How can you set such boundaries and not come across as not being religious, especially now?
You need to keep on posting rules and regulations
now and again,
and keep telling them that breaking the rules can make you to be automatically removed from the group.
And would that not come across as labeling, like you're not? I'm talking about religious one now, because I've seen people, because this platform is created for something else, and then you bring different ideas, and you know, you want to push things on people, and when people try to correct you, you're like, she borrow along lanso. I know.
You know, like what you are saying happens to me. Like my organization I set up in Nigeria, and somebody I want to employ was telling me, according to my spirit. I said, according to my spirit in an organization, you are coming as an. I said, please, this organization, I didn't set up this organization based on my spirit. I said this organization, if I need to pray about this organization, I'll go to church, I'll pray. But if you are coming to work with me, I don't want to work with spirit. She's introducing immediately spirit. So we just need to let them know that no, you can't bring that here. They are platform for spiritual matters. You know, just set that boundary. Keep repeating it.
Thank you so much, Temitope Matthews, for joining us today and sharing such powerful insights. A very big thank you to our amazing producer. Is the very, very shy one. He doesn't like to be mentioned. You make this show possible every week. We really, really appreciate you. So as we close today's session, I want to remind everybody listening that you deserve peace, you deserve respect, you deserve to choose yourself over guilt. And setting boundaries does not mean that you're wicked. It is just, did you mention self-care?
Self-care, not selfish.
You're not selfish. You're just
self-care.
You're looking after yourself, and you know, I believe that's the right thing to do. So this is Real Talk with Mrs. Fam, where we keep it honest, we keep it real, and we grow together. Have a beautiful week, and God bless you. Bye bye for now.
Bye.